991.
All right, let's take a look at that. So this is I did this first lap. I think you can do either lap, but usually with these long out laps like this, if you drag the brake coming out of pits a little bit and then take 3 and 4 of outlap really hard, you should have enough heat to make this first lap. I tried second lap a couple times and it just wasn't feeling it. So we'll go here. This is what we're doing for outlap. So I let off about half, let the car kind of pivot, kind of rotate, get the weight shifted so that I'm able to go full throttle. Then once that weight shifts to where I don't have to turn the wheel as much, I go full throttle and I got a little loose out here, as you can see. But as long as you're not sliding the rear, it's fine. But really try not to slide the rear under that full throttle. If you are, you might need to wait a little bit longer next time. All right, going into turn 1 here. This is going to be a top line. This wasn't the fastest that I did it. So the higher you go in 1 and 2, the faster you are. I've kind of noticed this with sets recently at Homestead, is that the more that you drive Homestead turn 1 and 2, like Darlington turn 1 and 2, the faster you'll go, just because of a slight tied-in condition when you're really pushing the car. So as you can see here, I do a little brake trap, just 5%, and then get back on throttle immediately and drive my car up to the wall, just like it's Darlington. And then by then, I should be able to go full throttle really early. So the whole key of this, I didn't have to brake here. You don't have to brake here. And in fact, what I did for braking probably didn't do too much. That's barely anything. But the point of it is, I want to get back in the throttle as early as possible. That's how you make Homestead qual turn 1 and 2 really fast. So by getting that Darlington line, I was able to get back in the throttle super duper early and able to go more or less full throttle really, really early. And this wasn't quite as good. I had a cleaner lap here. I'm going to show you guys. This was a cleaner 1 and 2, where I had a better 3 and 4 in the other lap. So yeah, I barely used a tiny bit of brake and then get back on the throttle. And the closer you get to this outside wall, the more speed you're going to have, just because that meant I got on the throttle just marginally earlier. I timed it just a little bit better. So whereas in that first lap I'm showing you, I didn't quite get up to the wall. This lap I did. Again, that's only worth a few hundredths. So if you're not comfortable driving it all the way up to that wall, you don't have to. But other than that, you just full throttled off the corner. It's going to feel a little unstable. Just try to keep it as straight as you can. We'll go head back to our slightly better lap with the worst 1 and 2. We'll go through this one. So I'll kind of show you here. So yeah, took the entry just about as shallow, but you see I hung on that partial throttle for just a little bit longer, which meant that I didn't drive the car all the way up to the wall and I didn't have that momentum that I did in the first lap there. But that difference, only a few hundredths, so it wasn't too bad. And then 3 and 4, I got a lot better here. So let's take a look at that. So no brake. I believe I didn't use any brake here. I'm going to make a pretty big arc. Oh, sorry, I did use brake, my bad. Just a tiny brake drag. I'm going to use a little big arc here, trying to just aim the car to make as late of an apex as possible while still barely using any trail brake to get down there. And then, as you'll see, I'm throttling through the apex. This is really huge at trucks at 1.5 miles, especially these ones that aren't cookie cutters. You want to throttle through the apex. So you see I'm back into the throttle before I even get to the white line. It's almost like I undershoot the corner and then get really aggressive throttle so that I can get as much momentum as possible. And you'll see that I'm not really following the traditional line. I'm kind of sliding up early, but that's just what you have to do to get back to the throttle that early. And that's our whole goal. As long as I can get back to the throttle early and not slide my rear tire coming up the hill, job is done. So I held that half throttle, and then as I start sliding up, there's a point where I see the exit. It's about like right here. And I'm like, okay, in my head, I can go full throttle here and just drive the car off the right rear and it'll survive. This was about as perfect as I could have gotten it, honestly, because I could not have inputted much more wheel than this without sliding. Like this loose condition here, this was about as loose as you can be without scrubbing speed. And you can notice here that I wasn't correcting in a way that would shift the weight or else I was going to hit the wall. I was correcting in a way that kept me rotating, but just only that perfect amount that wasn't disengaging the right rear. So very interesting stuff in 3 and 4. Very different to 1 and 2. It's going to take a little bit of throttle control there, or wheel control really. There wasn't much throttle control going on. I was just half throttle through the corner, timed it so at the earliest possible moment I could use the car to rotate through the corner, knowing it was going to be incredibly loose here, and then I'm just sawing the wheel to keep the right rear under me without losing that rotation. And it's going to look loose in car, and it felt very loose, but at the end of the day, the tire's still spinning in the right direction, and that's how we get the momentum. All right, now let's go take a look at long run. All right, now let's talk about long run. So this is going to be the most different that you'll see a line for a long run versus a qualifying run, because Homestead and this combination is really big on burning tires if you run it the wrong way. And basically the wrong way is any way that's not the way I'm about to show you. I was talking about it to some people the other day, and they were shocked at like how unintuitive this line is. So really, I'm going to be staying on the white line literally forever and ever. Now this is going to be pretty slow. I think I underdrove it a bit. If you're a full 3/10 slower through the corner, then you might have to take it a little bit harder. But basically the long run line, at least after the first couple laps, is going to be getting the car down on the white line and then just keeping the car down there and not even washing back out to the wall. This is where you want to exit the corner. Like, not even close to washing. You want to be in the corner the whole time. So shallow entry, get the car to the bottom. Let's see if I can take it a little bit faster this time. Yeah, I can roll a lot more throttle through there. And so you can see, you just roll that throttle and you just don't even wash up. Like, that was even washing up a bit too much in my opinion. But still, I mean, if you're able to run at the beginning of a run like 33 twos or 33 threes, that's going to be more than enough to not lose too much track position. But also keep in mind, if people are really, really pushing, you can let them by if you think they're going to waste their tires. Obviously, in a late race situation, you can do more defending on top or whatever, because 1 and 2 especially is going to be pretty darn fast on the short run. So if you're in that position, go ahead and do it. I recommend always running bottom 3 and 4. I think just running a bit more of an arc in 3 and 4 is going to be better than running the top in 3 and 4 if you really need to defend. But really what you're going to want to do is just ride this bottom and just literally not even wash up the track. You might think I'm crazy, but I promise you this is the line. For the trucks at least. And ARCA. And Gen 4. And B-Fixed, I think. I haven't made the B-Fix video yet. I'm going to do that after this and test this out. But basically this is the most even you're ever going to get tire wear on this track. It's just this shallow entry line here. You're like, wait, aren't you burning tire because you're turning in sharper? And the answer is no, because I'm not driving across the track while the corner's already started. And that's like the #1 way to burn right front tire. Sorry, I messed up a bit there. As you get later in the run, you'll have to arc it just a little bit more, but you don't want to do full arcs in the corner. You still want to enter, like right by the white line, stay right by the white line, and then just let your car slide up. Like, this is probably the highest I would want my car to slide up. That's the funny thing about this line, is that if you keep running this line and you're passing people that wore their tires, you can literally run this line without them even like getting in your way, because they'll just be running the top or the middle or something, and like you don't even sniff that. So yeah, this is the line the whole time. If you want to go ahead and use your tires in like the last 5 laps of a long run, let's say 5 to go or whatever, then yeah, oops, that was poor. That would have been bad for a race. But 1 and 2 especially, you can run top in like the last few laps of a run for sure. Kind of spend the tires that you saved up, make up some time. But you'll find that within like 10, 15 laps, this line here is just going to be outpacing everybody who's trying really hard up top. Especially if you have room off the back, just try it out. Let's see what this line is like compared to the bottom. So yeah, about a few laps in, you'll see half 10, it'll be about full 10th by the time we get to here. But this is using so much more tire. I think this one might actually be slower. It'll end up being faster. No, actually, it's close. But like, the 3 and 4 was definitely even. If you need to defend, go ahead and use top of 1 and 2 to defend. But bottom of 1 and 2 is like the #1 way to save tire. And then bottom of 3 and 4, should be what you're doing regardless. So yeah, that's how you run this track. It's kind of an art form, balancing it. You can definitely kind of go back and forth, but I would recommend whenever possible run that full bottom line, not washing up the corners, because that will leave you a lot of tire at the end of the race. 90C, look, I'm wearing the right rear there, and this is a right front burning track. So the more that we drive on it, the more it's going to land on that right front. And basically the top, whenever you're running the top, that's destroying the right front comparatively. So the fact that our line was burning the right rear is kind of crazy. And that just kind of shows you what's going on here. So go ahead and mix them if you need to. But if you're in a situation where you can just run that bottom the whole time, you will thank me at the end. All right. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you all on the track.